Okay. So in continuation with last video, so we were stuck at opening this silver data flow. So we'll open this one data flow here. I had some issues during that time, but now it is clear here. So this is still in preview, so maybe we can see some glitches here and there, but it will be clear when it is generally available. So what we need to do here is we just need to import the data which is available on our lakehouse, which is silver lakehouse, no, bronze lakehouse. So we need to go here, get data, and then click on more. So here, even though it is Power Query, but even though it is data flow, but it's Gen 2, right? So you will have a different UI here to get the data. And here you get these major sources. And if you want to go for other sources, you can get it from here, view more. Or if you want to look for this existing workspace, like one like data hub, you can also see it here. So you can see all the data which is related to one lake here. And also you can upload the files here. But if you want to go specifically on one lake data hub, then you can just click here. Because here, if you go, then you have an option to filter it by workspace. If you click here, you can see all the workspace access what you have. And from here, you can further filter it down to select this masterclass kind of thing. That's the workspace which we are working on. And then if you have on the top right, you can filter the other data sets or SQL endpoint or data mart or lakehouse kind of thing. So here we are targeting about the lakehouse. I will click here for the lakehouse. And now it has given me two lakehouse. One is silver, another is the bronze lakehouse. So I just need to click on this lakehouse. With just clicking on this one, there is no option to OK or next. If you just click on this one, then it will start connecting to this one. If you see on the bottom, you have a message here connecting to bronze AW Lakehouse 01. So it means it is trying to connect now directly. And then it will open up a new window. From there, we can select the tables, whatever we need. So this is also an option. And while this is loading on, you can also see it on the left side. We have a new options and then upload and other things. We can also do that using that. Okay, so right now we don't have see any tables here. So right now we don't see any tables here. The reason is because whatever we have on the bronze is basically the files, right? Because we have taken the files, uploaded files manually into the bronze one. So it is loaded as a files, not as a tables. So we need to take those tables and then convert it into tables here. So I will select all the files here, product, category, subcategory, dim, and fact internet sale. So whatever we are going to use later on, we will decide that later. But for now, we will take all the tables and then click on create, which is on the top bottom right. So once we do so, then this will try to do the same process as it usually do in Power Query. It will import the data and then it will transform the data by itself. Some of the tables and some of the stuff it will do it by itself, like loading the data and then using the headers kind of thing. I hope it will do, but let's see it will do it here or not. You see on the right side, it is one by one, it is adding the step here, source and then navigation 1, navigation 2, and then imported this one. And it has not generated the other steps here. But on the left side, it is still loading other tables here. And there is a different icon, you see it here, which is actually reading the file and then converting it into a table. So that's how it is actually working on here. The step what it has written here on the right side is imported CSV document. All right, so this is loading one by one. So now we have the dim currency CSV and then customer. This is done. So further step, if you want to do, then we need to do it on our canvas, the center screen itself. Like we need to keep the first row as a header. So usually, let's wait for a few seconds because this is still loading. Yeah. So we need to click on this icon and then use first row as header because then only it will move the headers here. And as usual, I think it will also add another step to detect the data type of each and every column. Yeah, it does as usual. So we have currency key, currency alternate key, and currency name here. Similarly, we will try to do for each and every table here. Click on this icon and then use first row as header. For the customer, at the bottom is giving the information about how many columns and how many rows are there, and also the usage memory. It seems to be a little bit slow here, but yes, for watching this video, then you can just speed up the video as per your convenience, like 1.5 or 2x. Because as I said earlier, so this is not a kind of edited video. This is a raw direct video without any edition, modification. So that's why I'm doing step by step as I'm going through this one. Or if you are going along with me, then totally fine. You can just go away with the flow. So as per our focus is like the bronze should be the raw data and the silver should be clean and filtered data. The main transformation happens on the gold layer. So once this load, then we look for other options, whether we need to keep those columns or not, we will filter those things here. So what could be the next step? As I'm changing up these for other three tables, can you just guess me what would be the next step which I'm going to do? Please let me know in the comment section below. Let's see if you get it right or not. Use first row as header. Okay, this is the last one which we are working on. So let's go back to the first table. So in the first table, first of all, we need to rename the table, which is showing up here as dim currency and then space CSV. It has generated automatically, but we'll just rename the table. And we don't need to change anything here. We need a currency key, alternate key, as well as the currency name. But just if you want to show in any report, then we'll keep that. And in the dim customer table, we'll also rename the table as usual. And apart from that, if we want to remove or keep any column, let's see. We need the first name, middle name, and last name, birthday, marital status. So everything is required here. And in the title, if we see everything is blank on this data set, no, it's we have the data. Okay. So I think it's good. If you're not using address and phone number, then we can just remove this one. The number of cars owned also we don't need, house owned also we don't need. Right click here and then remove columns. These are the usual stuff which we used to do. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup on this one. All right, on the next one, which is dim date. So here we'll keep everything because I don't want to miss any of the column on the date table. And in the product, yeah, we need to see. Product key, product alternate key, subcategory, name, sub cost, standard cost, color, class, style, and model. Okay, let it be. And for dim product category, right now, as you see on the list of tables here, and if you have also seen my previous video about like 1 hour long video about the Power BI, like 3 hour long video about Power BI, then you may have aware that we saw the tables which I have used on that particular model. So by considering that, which way you want to prefer? You want to go with a star schema or a Snowflake schema? So ideally, what is the best for Power BI? So I'm not making any changes to any of this table because I need everything. Usually, the best practice is to use the star schema. So we'll try to set up the star schema in the gold layer. So this is now we have the data here, shift date, product key, and consumer key, all the necessary thing here. We'll keep everything. Now the next step is we'll go one by one again from dim currency. And at the bottom right, you see the destination. So if you click here, if the destination is the Lakehouse, Masterclass, Silver, AW Lakehouse, everything is perfect. But only thing is not right is update method. So here the update method is append, but basically we need to replace that. So that's the default one which comes up here, and we just need to click on this gear icon, and then it will open up a window here so that we need to configure things here. So we need to select here, which is the credentials of this one. If you are doing it for the first time, then it will ask you for the credentials. As we are directly opening up it from the lakehouse itself, so we don't need to worry about that. It will connect directly to the lakehouse. And then you need to click on next so that it will load the available things inside to that lakehouse. And we have this many workspaces here and which I have access. I need to expand here at the master class. So this is the one, and here I need to expand the silver. But on the top, we have the new table or existing table. So basically, there is no table available on that lake house. So I need to select here at the new table, and table name, it can be dim currency itself. And just select this database here. Basically, we call it as the database here. This is a folder, and you see the icon. It's the folder icon here, and this is the database icon. So I will call this as a database here and then click on next. So the next step is the main thing. So here, because of this only, I need to click on that gear icon. Like we have existing data and new data. So the existing data will append to or in the new data. So we have the existing data right now, and what will happen to the new data which comes up in future? Like if you want to refresh this data flow, what will happen? So do you want to append this or replace this? Append means it will keep on adding into this table itself. Replacement, it will delete the data and then add it again. It's the same procedure like it has everywhere. So I will select on the replace one, not on the append. So and then click on save settings. And also make sure that you have the same column name and destination and also the source type here. So this will actually help you in future data warehousing kind of thing. And also I want to show you one thing. I'm not sure whether we have this option here or not. So let's take an example of this one. I will just give a space at this column, number, children at home. There is a space between that. So for Power Query, it doesn't matter, and even in Power BI, it doesn't matter. It will accept that, and then we can load the data. But for here, if I click on this gear icon, and then again, it needs to select the credentials, and then it will validate these credentials, and it will load the data. Selecting this masterclass 1 folder and Silver Lakehouse and click on expand here so that it can also verify that we have this table existing there or not. So click on new And the next, yeah, this is what I was trying to say you here. There are some columns name contains unsupported characters. Should we fix them for you? So the reason for that is if I scroll down, you see all of them have a green tick here. But for this one, number, children, space at home, it is not ticked. There is an icon here and also the reason here. So if you click on this one, mouse over on this one, column name cannot contain spaces, new lines, tabs, or any of the following characters. So it is not allowing some special characters, also the space. So it is asking that can you fix them? So what will happen to that? So if I click on fix it on the top right, then it will just select this column, and the difference between that, it has added underscore to that. So with the space, it has replaced to underscore, and everything is normally here. So again, save on settings. So this is how it works. Usually, it means it is not allowing with the space icon, with the space column name. So we need to fill it with underscore or hyphen, something like that. Underscore is actually a good option to be safe. So now going to this date table, and we'll do the rest of the same step as we did for this previous two table one by one. As there is no background music available here, so I cannot play it for the moment. You can just speed up this video. In that case, if you are okay with this one, click on next. So now, hold on. If you're skipping this one, please hold on. So now we have this option about on the top new and existing table. Let me show you on the next one because I crossed this one. Team product, and then click on the destination. Next here. And masterclass 1 here. Silver, and then next. On the top, you see new table and existing table. So I'm selecting here as a new table, right? The new table is the default selection which I used to do because the table is not available here. If the table is available, then it will not allow. It will also give you the information about the table already exists. So we need to select the existing table, and then we need to select not only the database, we also need to select the existing table to which we are going to replace the data. So that's one thing. Now your question is like if you are setting this from first time and we'll select the new table, but anyway, right? So that's the only option we can select because there is no table available. What will happen for the refresh and next refresh and all, right? So that's a valid question to be said. So what will happen to that is basically, even though we have configured as a replace a new table, but it's know that the table is already available. So it will just replace the data with this existing table available on that. So this will not going to throw an error. It will actually work smoothly. Somehow this is taking a bit more time validating the data in the destination target. Let me cancel this and redo this again. Okay, clicking on again the gear icon. Next here. Masterclass 1. Silver. Let me expand this first. And then click on this one and click on next. So you see the sequence which I did, it actually works fast. So if you directly select the database and then click on next without expanding, then it is actually taking a lot more time to validate the settings. So I'm clicking on this one in category now, product category, clicking on the gear icon and selecting the next. And here I will select the masterclass 1 folder. Now this is taking time at the validation connection itself. Okay, so masterclass 1 and expand this silver so that it can load the available tables initially, and then select this database and you get a message here. It is going to replace created here on this one, and click on next. Save settings. We have 3 more to go now. Almost done. So dim product subcategory. Masterclass 1 here. Silver. Select the silver and next. It's actually a good thing, right? I mean, if you skip some of the steps here, I mean, if you move forward on the videos to speed up things, as I'm repeating it for all these tables, you will get the point how it has to be done. You will get also the clarity about if you miss in the first time. Okay, the last one. Okay, clicking on next here. Everything is good and save settings. And the next step is to publish. So in the publish use, I have noticed one icon here. If I click on this one, it has an option about publish now or publish later. So the beauty of Gen 2, one of the beauty of Gen 2, data flow Gen 2 is basically the step, whatever you do it here, and then if you close on this one, it is actually stored those information, stores those activities, what you have done here, steps, what you have done here. So it's not like the old one, like if you click on that and then if you don't save it here, don't publish it, then everything is gone. It's not like that. We can just save our work and then we can do it later on. Or if you want, if you're okay, everything is perfect, then you can click on publish now. Or directly, if you click on publish, it's going to be published now itself. So this will validate the data and then it will refresh the data. So while this is refreshing, maybe it will take some few time, few minutes. We'll see on that. And meanwhile, we'll open up this Power BI desktop. And I just want to look into the previous last year or a year before, which I did a video on Power BI with Adventure Work. I will try to open up the same file. Now, this is the data flow Gen 2. It is spinning now here, and then it will spin the data. So let's go back to our presentation. So this is what we have done so far. We have loaded the data, and then we have also used this one. Okay. Somehow the draw is not available. Anyway, so the CSV load upload to bronze is done here, and we use the data for Gen 2 here, and we use the silver to filter and clean the data. So this is part is done. The next thing is, again, we need to use data flow Gen 2 and then load again to the gold layer of lake house and finally the pipeline. Okay, so if I close this one and then look for this, for example, Meanwhile, we'll also have a look into this one. This is still spinning, but still I will just refresh my browser. Ah, I just missed that. Now it is started to refresh the data flow. Once this is done, it will load the data into the Silver Lakehouse. Yeah, it is started loading, so that's why the numbers are coming up here, the data and time. Okay, so while this is loading, let's have a look into the schema because this is what we are going to do in the next step. So this is where we are. Let's have a look into the model view of the old file. So in the all tables, yes, we have the fact internet sale, dim currency, dim product, category, customer, dim date, and sales territory and promotions and what. It means we have not used the star schema, we have used the Snowflake schema itself for this particular case. In that case, why do we need to go with the data flow Gen 2? Because the Power Query thing, which I already covered on my lot of videos, and also I have made a separate course on Power Query, so you can also use that because you will get aware of how the Power Query works and what are the functionalities it has. I'm going to do the same thing. So to avoid that, to bypass that, we can also use, instead of going for a data flow Gen 2, we will try to use one more thing, which is copy activity here. So the copy activity, basically, this will copy the data from this to this lakehouse. And from this, we'll use another copy activity here. So now you must think about what is the use of medallion architecture. Yeah, as I said earlier, so this is basically the standard practice. Right now, in our case, and to bypass few things, I'm just using this approach. But usually, you have to do this clean, raw, clean, and filter on the silver and the daily transformation, the perfect transformations only on the gold business thing. Right now, there is no much transformation here. I just want to make use of this one and use the copy activity. Okay, let's see if it is refreshed or not, because we need to wait till this refresh gets finished. Yeah, I think it is done. That's a good thing. Okay, let me refresh this browser. All right, so this is done. Super. The next thing is we need to create a pipeline. So here we are in Power BI. Let's move on to Data Factory. That is where we have the pipelines. And we'll go to the master class, and then we'll go to this pipeline. But as a thumb rule, which you're following up here, first create a lake house and then create the things. So the lake house which I want to create here is a gold one. So let's create a gold underscore AW underscore lake house 01 and then click on create. So the new lake house is created now, and it is also created the other things, which is gold SQL endpoint and the gold default data set. Okay, so we have these staging data flows like we discussed in the last video that we should not have to test or edit any of those. So let's go back to our lakehouse. So we have these tables and files. Now we need to click on get data. But before that, how about seeing into the silver lakehouse first? So let's click on the silver lakehouse at the bottom. Yeah. So this one, we should not have to have any files. Yes, correct. The files is empty, but the tables, we have the unidentified tables, and it is showing up all the tables here. Data flow Gen 2, we have loaded this as the tables here. And I think we need to refresh one more time. The silver one. because usually it actually has to convert it into a table. But the CSV, we load it over there, even though it has converted into a table, but not as per our requirement. So let's refresh the data flow one more time. While this is refreshing, we'll also try how it looks like in here on the gold lakehouse. So here we have option about get data, and we see these options, which is upload file, new pipeline, data flow gen 2, and new shortcut. Now this time we'll look for new data pipeline. So click on that. It will ask you the name, as simple as that. You don't need to configure anything. That's the beauty of Fabric. So this is basically what we are using. Gold, yeah, it's gold pipeline. Now gold AW, that's the naming sequence which you're following up. Pipeline underscore 01, and then that the next one is for 02. Okay. So if you create this one, what are the options we get here on this screen? Some of them are familiar with this one, some of them are not, but this is really, this is really easy actually to be said. I mean, it has a more complex thing in detail, but for this initial masterclass, we are not going to go that much level detail. So let's go to Power BI again. This is asking you with the user interface about what you're going to do here. But basically, we are not doing the copy activity, right? So just cancel this one. Yes, cancel this. So here, pipeline, we have this add pipeline activity. We can copy data. We can also choose another task. So we have other things like validate, run schedule, run history, copy data, data flow. We can add the data flow here. We can add a notebooks here. If you are familiar with Sparks, you can also use that. We can use the lookup feature, and we can also invoke other pipeline inside to this one. Not only that, we also have activities which are the apart from this one home, we have other things like we can also add a script here. We can add a stored procedure. We can set up some variables, conditions for it, and Office 365, Outlook, and Teams. Not only that, we have much more other things as well here, like delete data, append variables, switch, filter, wait, loop, fall, and webhook. So on the run, we have the same thing. On the view also, we have the usual feature. All right, so here we are going to copy this data. So before that, let's go to this workspace and have a look whether the data is refreshed or not. The silver data flow is still refreshing. And you see, this is almost like 2 minutes now. This is still loading up here. We'll see for another 1 minute. Okay, so now in our case, what we are going to do here. So basically, we are going to copy the activity from the silver to gold lake house. We'll just use the copy activity. This is just going to take the data and load it here. That's the activity is going to do that. So now you may also think about, we also have a data flow on Azure Data Factory, but inside to this also we have a data flow. What is the use of it, right? That's a good point. So if I click on this data flow, for example, this actually gives a screen here where we need to define the data flow name and its description, timeout, retry, and other smaller things here, which is retry interval seconds and secure input and output. And then when check, output from activity will not be captured in logging. Okay. So setting is basically we need to call the existing data flow. That is the reason for this. So if you want to call existing data flow to run on this one, then we can make use of that. So for the reason and usage, I'm going to cover it at the end of this entire masterclass, because that's how we'll end up the thing. But just overview here, we are not building an entire data flow here. We are just calling the data flow here. That's the purpose of this. Now let's go back here and refresh. Yeah, the refresh is finished here. And if I click on Silver Lake House, We'll see how the data looks now. I'm using two tabs right now. One is for the pipeline, another is for this one. Now you see it has added as a delta table here inside to the table section and Silver Lakehouse. Usually it has to refresh it at the first time itself. I mean, it has converted this into a table, but somehow it has not. That's totally fine. Okay, so here we are on the gold one and click on copy data and we have a add to canvas or copy assistant. So the canvas is basically, it will add this one like it has added a data flow, but we need to define the source, destination, everything manually. So as a initial user, we can make use of this copy assistant. This is a kind of wizard. So here we have some sample data. If you want to use that, you can use that, or else we have other data sources here. But we can click on workspace, which is basically the workspace which we are going to work on this fabric. So we need to pick the data from data warehouse, KQL database, or lakehouse. Lakehouse is our preference. Click on the lakehouse and click on next. And after that, it is asking for existing lakehouse or create a new lakehouse. I need the existing lakehouse, which is a silver lakehouse, and click on next. And it is going to load all the tables available on the silver lakehouse. So we need everything. So select all, and then we have option here tables and file, but we need tables right now. If you click any of this one, then it's going to populate you the data. That's it. Nothing more than that. So and then you need to click on next. And here we need to select the destination. For destination also it has the same functionality. So click on the workspace. Again, we need to use the lakehouse itself. And here the source is basically we need to select. First of all, you need to click on next here after clicking on lakehouse. Here is existing or a new one. So you need to click on this one and lakehouse. So one thing I feel it's missing is basically, even though we have opened up this pipeline inside the gold lakehouse, the destination it has to pick automatically. But as these are the different artifacts, it is just giving you an option to open up those pipeline inside to this lakehouse. So that's the reason it is not picking up this one. So we need to select here the gold AW lakehouse. What I mean to say is, even though it is given an option that we can create a pipeline inside a lakehouse, but two of them are independent artifacts. Yeah, that's the reason. So select this existing one and click on next. So here we need to select the list of tables, which is here. And on the new one, we need to select the existing one or the new one. So we don't have any existing one. We are aware of that. So it is not giving you any option here. When we click on new, I mean the load existing one, it is the destination we need to pick up from the dropdown. But for the new one, it will pick up the table name the same as it is in the source, and then it will give this list of available columns here and how it is going to convert here. For example, you see here this currency key is long and this currency key is int64. So that's how it has converted here. Now you ask about what is the reason for that. So first of all, this is basically done through Power Query to the lakehouse. And now this is happening lakehouse to lakehouse. So it is running this separate logic here to define the column type. Okay, so if you want to add another mapping, you can also do that here. Or additional thing, if you don't, you can skip that. And also you have enable partition. So this is basically for creating any partitions on a table. So we don't want to cover this for now. And similarly, we need to select for each and every table here. By default, it will select something, but just need to make sure that it has done properly. So we have the load new table, table name, and all the columns here. We don't need to select anything here. It's just to delete this one. Yeah, that's it. And then click on next here. So here we have not seen any option here. So usually it asks you for enable staging options. Like it will stage the data and then load the data into the lakehouse. Right now, this is lakehouse to lakehouse, so it is not asking you for any staging, but we'll see in the next transfer, we'll see how it works. So start data transfer immediately at the bottom. Yeah, click on save and run. So this is going to add a kind of copy activity here, and inside to that, it will add all these transactions, I mean, all this information. And here we have while this is running, here we have the option Usually in the notification, this should run. Yeah, actually it is loading up this thing. So basically, on this one, we have the parameters here, right? So the parameter name has given automatically, but inside to this, there is a value. So what is this value? I will just me open a notepad and paste here. So this is basically all the tables what we have selected, and it's column data type, column name and data type. So that's what it is mentioned here. That's a parameter it's going to pass here as an array. And it is actually going in a JSON format, but it's actually going table by table. So that's how it is, one by one. And then click on OK, so that it will start running this job here. So that is the use of parameters here inside to this pipeline. Another option, we have the variable. If you want to declare any variable, we can do that. And the setting is concurrency setting and output. So this output will show you this output activity about each and every step here. So now it is actually copying all this table 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables are there. Sorry, 8 tables are there, which is a step here. And it is automatically refreshing for every few seconds to give you the status of what's happening on the copy activity. Even though it is the kind of small thing itself, but it will take a bit time based on your data set. So here, right now, you see everything is succeeded here. And let's go to this workspace again, and we'll have a look into our gold lake house. I will filter it here, gold, and then click on gold lake house. So the job is completed here. And then if you have a look into this one, we have it here as an undefined, the same thing which we have seen on that. So what should we do now? Okay, so let's run this flow again, or we'll refresh this again. Yes. So it is still in the process. I have opened up this one immediately, I think. So after refreshing it here, so it has opened up this in a correct manner. So now everything is on the table section on the gold lake house. Now the next thing is we need to create a warehouse. So let's go here and then click on new. We don't have warehouse here, so we need to go to data warehouse option, which we can take it here at the bottom left, data warehouse, and then select this one. If it is any of the artifact or any of the workload, you can click on, for example, Power BI. You can click here. This is going to open up this window and select the data warehouse. That's it. So now we have the warehouse preview. Clicking on this one, the naming standard is gold underscore AW underscore warehouse underscore 01 and click create. Now let's go back to the presentation. So until this step we have finished. So this is done. Let's create this one. This is also done, and this is also done. And now the next thing is we need to do this step. So right. All right. So minimize this. We have this data warehouse is creating here. And on the top, we get a message even for the lakehouse as well. A default dataset for faster reporting was created, and it will be automatically updated with any tables and views added to the warehouse. So this is how it will work also similarly for the lakehouse as well. For every lakehouse, you will see a default. So let's open up this lakehouse, for example. See here, for every lakehouse, this is giving the message here. A SQL endpoint for a SQL query and a default dataset for reporting were created, and it will be updated with any table added to the lakehouse. So it means it is going to automatically sync between the SQL endpoint and the dataset Power BI. Okay, so we have this proper warehouse kind of structure here, schemas, and then security. We can also create queries here. Similarly, we can also do it on this side, on the lakehouse side as well, but not within the lakehouse. But in the warehouse, we can do it here itself. We can get the data, we can just add our own query as well. You see it has added a new query here, but I will show you that later on. But first of all, let's click on the get data here. So here we have two options. One is the pipeline and data flow gen 2. So we need to use the copy activity. I'm going to use this one new pipeline. Here again, we just need to give the name of this one. What we need to give here? Gold underscore AW underscore pipeline underscore 02, because 01 we have already created. So if you add 01, it's also giving message provided name is not unique, provide a unique name. I will give 02 here so that we can understand. One is for the silver to gold lake house and two is for the gold to warehouse. Again, we need to do the same process what we did just before, but there is a check here. I just want to show you that. Okay, select the warehouse and here the lake house, click on next. Existing lake house, which is the gold AW lake house, and next. And then select the tables, select all tables, and then click on next here. And here the warehouse. Wow, this has picked up automatically. That's amazing. But I think that's only issue with the lake house. That's great. So click on next here, and it is asking to load an existing table out of the new one. But it has detected automatically about this one, but this is the new table itself. So it is giving up these options here. Again, it is converting from long to integer. That's fine. And here also it is taking up every table here. That's amazing. It's also the same option which we have seen during the previous one. And click on next. Yeah, this is the one which I want to show you that. So staging. Basically, specify whether to copy data via an interim staging store enables staging only for the beneficial scenario. So if I just untick this one, what will happen? So basically, we have discussed on the previous video about the staging data flows, right? So this is actually copying the data from lakehouse to a warehouse. So in our previous slide, if I go to this one, this is how it works, the staging. So if we have disabled this options like we did here, untick this one, then this will directly go from lakehouse here in this case and destination to be the warehouse. That's how it will work. But if we have used the staging option, then this actually goes to this engine. I mean, but able to go to the engine, it will go to the lake house and then another staging layer and warehouse for compute thing, and then it will load into the destination. But let's see, even though I have disabled these options, what's happening here? So click on next. You see, this is giving me an error message. Direct copying data to a data warehouse using copy command is not supported for the specified source. Please enable staging. So for converting data from lakehouse to warehouse, we need to enable the staging. So that's where this default data flows enable staging. So these data flows are being consumed. I mean, the staging data flows, what we have it here, it's everything is consumed now. So, and I click on next, and you see this arrow. While we worked on the previous one, it is just lakehouse to lakehouse. That's the two arrow options were there. And now this is going through lakehouse to a staging lakehouse and from staging lakehouse to a warehouse. That's how it actually shows up here as well. All right, now click on save and run. This is going to save and run. Again, we have multiple tables, so it will add these other parameter, and then we need to click on OK. While we are in this development phase, then only we need to approve this, the parameter. But once we keep on a schedule basis, then we don't need to pass any parameter. It will pick up this default parameter and it will run. So while this is running, now let's see at the output here. On the top, it is running. Now it is in progress here. Yeah, it is running now. So what are the things which we have completed here is basically we have used this one and we have also used the copy activity, and now this is where we are starting now. All right, so the next thing is schedule is pending. Yeah, this is refreshing. So here we have a schedule option for every pipeline. We can just click on schedule to be on, and it's asking you for the frequency by minute, hourly, daily, or weekly. And then we can also define the timings for this, for example, 08 a.m. or p.m. And let's see if I can able to do, yeah, that's a great feature, right? In Power BI, we don't have an option like 15 minutes or any other customized time. So now we can set up here at 8 p.m. 8:18 p.m. and that's beautiful thing. And you can also define the start and end time. You want to do it for a specific time period, you can also do that, and also the time zones. This is really a helpful scenario. So let me tell you a reason for that. So one of the projects which I worked on is basically the management requested to refresh this data only till June of every year, right? Because we are closing this financial year of April, and we want to refresh the last year data till the June of this year. Because if you want to make any corrections, then we can correct during that period. And after June, we don't need to refresh the old data. So in that scenario, we can make use of this one. We can schedule that particular data flow. We can schedule that particular pipeline as a start date and end date, and then we can click on apply. So that will be a useful scenario. But here where we are going to use, I will show you in a moment. Cancel this one and close this one. And we have successfully refreshed this copy activity. Let's go back to this warehouse. This is now loading the warehouse, and we should see all the tables. That's amazing, right? Yeah, we have this all the tables available here. That's great. Now we have options here on the top, which is new SQL query, new visual query, and new report and new measure. So what are the use cases of it? So if I click on new visual, new query, this is basically going to create a new query. That's it. We have option template as a schema, table, view, or stored procedure. How we want to use that. So click on stored procedure, then this is going to give the template of it. These are the templates which we have. If you want to create a new table or view, we can get that. That's amazing. It's going to add a query under the query section here on the left side. Okay, so if you want to run any queries, let's say, for example, I want to run the team customer, I can just drag and drop here. It is taking this database name and schema and table. So I just want to add select star from this table and click on run here. This is going to execute this particular table. This feels like we have a SQL on the web. This is still running. Okay, while this is running, we have option here to save as view. That's also a good thing. So the beauty of this warehouse is we not only we can use this table, you can also create views, and that view we can use it in our reporting purpose. So let's say, for example, if you want to combine this product dim category and subcategory, and then just create one view, and that view we can use it in our report development. Yeah, that's possible. That's cool, right? Yeah, this is still running. So if I click on save view, enable view, to select a view, select the text. Okay. So we need to select the text here, then only we can need to click on save view. It will just use this SQL view as a create view, and then it will just copy our selected text here. We just need to give the name here. If you want to add a schema also, we can use that. So here, test customer or VW customer, and click on OK. And here, if you expand this view, then it's going to add that view name here. I think it's still running, so let me refresh here. So view successfully added here. Let me refresh again. Yeah, the new view is added here. Somehow this is still spinning, so let's cancel this one. And if I run again, anyway, so for some reason it is not working here, but it actually works fine. You can also try it out while you're working on. So what is the visual query method? This is actually a feature of Power Query. So if you don't need a SQL, this is the warehouse, right? If you don't need a SQL statement, how to write that, then no need to worry about that. So we have a visual query options where you can customize your requirement based on the UI itself. That's amazing, right? This is basically the features which is available on Power Query. So it has brought up the features of Power Query here inside the warehouse. Basically, this is actually the source, database, and table which is showing up here. And if you want to add any kind of transformation here, just click here, for example, and you want to keep only the top rows, you can also click here and then just select top 10 rows here. This is going to add a new step and this will do this job here. Now, which I mentioned here, right? So we want to create a view based on product and subcategory and category. So let's try that. Okay, so I will delete this one because I don't need this. So we can delete here. This is not going to delete everything. This is actually delete the query, right? This is not going to delete the table. Okay, that's cool. All right, so just click and drag and drop here, product here, um, and then product category here, and product subcategory. Now, three of them here, and both of them are like disable load by default. So click on this one, the category should join, subcategory should join to the product and product should join the category, right? So clicking on this one and click on merge queries. I want to add subcategory here itself. So category key and click here in product category. This is the same UI, right? As you see it in Power Query. So the selection matches 37 of 37 rows from the first table and click on OK. This is going to merge these both the tables and it's going to, you see the stuff is added here, category is added to subcategory, and there is one more step here added here. And also you see at the bottom, you see this step here. This is the one. So in product category, it is giving us also the information. That's pretty amazing. All right, so click on this further step. It is asking you what to do here. Either you can use this option, or if you want to expand further, you can also do that. So I will expand this table here. Like I just need the category name from this table and click on OK. So few options which is available here and few of them which is available here. And also we can have an option here to view SQL. So we can just use the diagram itself and then we can use the SQL, view SQL, and then we can save that as a view. That's what I'm going to do now. So we have these bikes as the product category name, and now again merge this with the product table. So merge queries here, product subcategory key, and here we have to use which table. I think, yeah, subcategory, correct. So subcategory key and subcategory will match here. So this is not matching because of the data type issue. That's really good thing, which I'm aware of it now. Okay, so this is the one thing which is we need to take care of while copying the data, while transferring from one lakehouse to another lakehouse, or doing anything in the Power Query as well while doing this initial thing. Because if you notice here, the column data type is not correct. Here the product subcategory key is in text and here it is in number. So we can't make the relationship between these two columns. So now what is the next step? We need to either do the changes in the previous step or we need to alter the column here. So for this, we need to do a long process. We'll try to write an SQL here. So let this be. So this is basically, we need to save this one. The new visual query is here. That should be fine. It will be there forever. And for example, for now, if I click on view SQL, this is actually giving me this product table. That is what I have selected over there. And if I click on this one and click on view, this is giving me the same table, product key, product alternate key, that's the same script which is giving up here. But so I will do this enable load to be true. Okay, so because of dates, it is not showing up the query. So if I click on view SQL, now this is giving me the correct result, which I have used here as dim product category and then the dim product subcategory here. Category inner join to this with a subcategory. So this is the one, and this is it has joined the left join. Yeah. All right. So this is cool. Yeah, so we can save that SQL. So we need to finish off this work first. So let's go to the other views here, which we see. If I go back again, I forgot about which table has a wrong information. I think subcategory has the wrong information. If I click on this one and then the meds queries, yeah, correct. So let's see if it is possible to do the changes here. If I click on this one, yeah, I have the option, click on to be the whole number. That is pretty amazing. So I can click on this one and then merge queries, select this one and then click on subcategory, select this one as well. And now everything is matched here. Why it is not matching? Subcategory key, somehow. But anyway, so just click on OK. So everything in one single view. The query dim product is not supported as a warehouse view since it cannot fully translate it to SQL. Because we did a step here, so that's why it is not showing. So it is telling that we can't able to convert into a warehouse view. So let's click here and then expand further. We need a category name, we need subcategory name, and click on OK. No. It is not allowing us to do that. Because of this step, I think it is not giving an option because there is no option here to save as view. What other options we have here? Nothing here. We can reduce rows, we can manage columns here, we can transform the data, we can combine things here. Yeah, if we do some other options, then it is not giving an option. It is not actually query folding, right? So that's the reason it is we have this issue. But if we, how we can delete this one? Okay, transform, we don't have combine. Oh, we don't have option here to see at the steps here what we did. It should be there. Yeah, it is not available here so that we can reduce the steps basically. What if I convert this again to a text? I'm trying to do some crazy thing here, but this is not right actually. So this is not working fine. So here are the steps which it is available here. If we want to delete that, we can delete this here. Right. So what are the steps we want to delete? We can have an option here so that we can delete this one. So here, if I right click on this last step, we see view data source query. But here at the last one, I'm not able to see this one. So that is the reason it is telling me that it is not foldable. And here also it is saying me it is not foldable. Yeah, agreed to this one. So we can't able to do that. So these are the features if we have it on the warehouse thing, we can do that. I will try to make some more in-depth video on this warehouse thing so that we can also get aware of these features. Please let me know in the comment section below about how you want to look for this video thing. All right, so we have this view, and the next thing is here in the data which we have seen already about this one, and we have the new report and measure. But we can go with this one. But before that, at the bottom, if you notice, we have other options: data, query, and model. So query is nothing but it's going to be the same thing which we have seen just before, and the model is the special thing. Here is the thing where we can add a relationship between the tables. So far, tables are there, but there is no relationship. So to build a Power BI report, we need to build the relationship between the tables. And now we will get the surprises if there are any. So that's why I have brought up here the old file, and we'll see this one, and then we'll try to build the relationship. All right, so dim product is the product key on this one, and here we have the column name as what? On this one, we can see as product key. Okay. So dim customer, dim product, we have it here and the fact internet says. Okay, let's drag and drop here. You see this is the same UI looks like in Power BI. The product key here. Just drag and drop the product key here. It's the same user interface which comes up here in Power BI system. So I have made a chart actually that the Mac users now able to create app Power BI report without using Power BI desktop. So far what I'm doing it here, I'm everything doing it on the web itself. So there is nothing happening in Power BI desktop, right? So this is one of the feature of Fabric. Even without Fabric, we can do that, like I explained on that chart. But this is Fabric also we can make use of that. So subcategory key, so we'll add it here. And this also automatically detecting the data type as well. So that's also one of the beauty thing. And here, do we have a product key? Yes, we do. So click here and here. Click on confirm. Okay, so what's the next thing? So dim customer, we need to map here customer key here, and here what is the key? Customer key as well. Okay, so for the dates, we have a different thing. So customer key and customer key. For date, we'll add the order date and ship date both, but order date to be as a primary, active, and order date here. And here, do we have a date? Let's have a look here. In the date table, date key and order date key. Oh, do we have an order date key here? No, we don't have it here. Okay, do we have a date here? Full date alternate key. Okay, we'll use this one. Full date alternate key with the order date. Okay. So that Power BI file version is basically the integer column, and this is the date column. That's the difference. So we have this active, and now what will happen if I connect the same to the ship date? So I will remove this active and confirm. That's what I was surprised. How can it create two active relationships in the model? That's great. Okay, this is fine. The next pending thing is dim currency. Okay, currency key here and currency key here as well. Okay, so the next thing is sales territory. I'm not sure where it should fit. This actually here. Okay, we have the sales territory key. No, it's actually going somewhere. I think dim customer has a sales territory key. Dim geography is sales territory key. Okay. Where is dim geography? Do you have a dim geography here? No. Okay, we'll just map this with the fact internet sales if we have. Yeah, we have it here, sales territory, and then sales territory key with this one. While navigating here and there, if you notice, we also have a view customer confirm. Oh. Right. So that is basically the view which is here on this warehouse. It is showing up over there in the model. So if you want to use that view, we can use that. But if you don't want to use that view, just click here and then is hidden to be true. This is the same process what we used to do in Power BI Desktop. If you don't want to show the table to the user, we just hide it here. Let it be here, but you can hide it here. That's amazing, right? So everything is good here so far. And on the top, you have these measures and report option. So for this, first of all, let's create a measure. Select this pack internet sales table and then click on new measure. What you're going to do here. So we can add order quantity. So sum, I will show you one thing. So let's order quantity equal to sum of order quantity. So actually, when you click on the new measure, it's generating something in the background. So before we start to type something, we just need to wait for a few seconds. And then we can give our dash, write our dash query. Order quantity equal to sum of intelligence, everything works fine. Order quantity. Yeah. Now, if I click on commit, this is actually give me a message. No? Yeah, that is great. Yeah. So previously, actually, it is not allowing to add the same name measure, but O or D or quantity. Yeah. Now, oh, I have just QR, so that's the reason. Sorry, if I use the order quantity, rename measure. So the name order quantity is already used for a column on a table on this table. Choose a different name. So it is not allowing to use this column name with the measure name. I think we don't have that case in Power BI desktop, but here in Fabric we have that. So let's use this option. Like anyway, we are going to use the sum. So we'll show it here as in the measure itself. So sum of order quantity or order quantity sum, however you feel preferred. And also what we need here, sales amount. Okay. So new measure, just wait for a few seconds to load on this. Usually there is a refresh icon happening here, right? Yeah, you see it here, it's happening now. So and then it will load. So till this time you need to wait actually. So I will just sum and then sales amount. So sum of sales amount and hit enter. And also the formatting of each and every measure is also amazing, the same way how you have in Power BI Desktop. This is right now in general, I just want to convert this into a whole number and then thousand separator. So clicking on this thousand separator, this will convert into a decimal by default. And then if this is a whole number, let's click again here and click on advanced. So clicking here and then changing it to a decimal. This gives me thousand separator and also will just select the 0. And the same thing applies for order quantity as well. So we have the whole number and thousand separator and 0. That's good. So we have everything in place now. We have a table tools on the top. We also have a measure tools. It's not helping us in many way, but still we can do a lot of work here on the right side. Okay, so before going into the report building, we have these options here: new report, new Power BI data set, manage default Power BI data set, and automatically update data set. So what are these options? So new report is creating new report, new data set. If you want to add another data set on top of this, we can also create that. And manage default Power BI data set. Right now, what we are working is basically the default data set. So click here. This is actually giving us an option here like select or deselect objects for the data set. Only objects that can be added to the data set are shown here, right? So which you are going to add in data set are going to show here. Okay, we are going to add everything. And then if you click on this automatically update data set option, data set update in progress. So default data set objects here, but this is basically all the objects here. Now we have this option to new report. So if I click on this one, but still I want to show you one thing. So here we have the settings on this warehouse. Support this we can connect through the SQL SSMS endpoints. Okay, so we have this, and this, and now click on new report. This is going to open up a new tab, and then it will bring all the columns with the relationship in Power BI interface. We have all the tables on the right side. That's amazing. And not the view, which we have hidden over there. That's also amazing. And if you expand this one, we see these two measures created here. That's great. The next thing is we need to add it into our table. For example, I will add dim category here, dim product, which is to be, for example, this one. This is a key. I don't need the key here. All right, dim product, and I want to add sales amount. So converting the data type varchar to big int is not possible. We need to check where it is. So we'll just convert this into a matrix now. Okay, cancel this. This is fine. I think this is on the sales order quantity. We'll see. This is fine. And on the sales amount, this is also fine. Okay. So if we use this dim product key, for example, from here, this is working fine. And if I use this product category name here, this is something not working. But if we use, for example, other thing like the year, so calendar year, yeah, this is working fine. But I think that's because of the relationship between the tables. So we need to verify, check on that. So it is working now. And also if I add a quantity in another visual actually, but that's is no link between this quantity and value. This is for the quantity and this for the quantity and this for the sales amount. Yeah, that's amazing. We can change the visuals. Cool. So we have this one, everything in place and forward here. And if I click on save, it is asking you with a pop-up message to give the name. The gold AW report underscore 01, and in the destination workspace is this one. All right, amazing. Now, if I go back to this workspace, we have this gold and gold and gold and gold. If I filter just for the gold, we also have a report here. That's amazing, and it is automatically synced between this one. Let's go back to our PPT. We have used this gold warehouse and also their default data set. We have built the model and we also built the report. That's great. So what is the pending thing now is we build everything. So those everything is smooth. The last thing is pending is how we are going to refresh it. So that's the question mark now. How we are going to refresh this one and when. So here is the place where it comes off the pipeline. So that's the final thing which we are going to do today. So I will click on new and then click on data pipeline. We have to be a data factory or data warehouse. Click on data pipeline. So this is going to be the main pipeline. So we'll give it here as a main underscore AW underscore pipeline underscore and 01. And then click on create. This will open up that window. I hope so far you are going to observe that what I'm going to do now is basically I will add the data flows. That's it. First of all, I will click on the data flow and here we'll just give it a name here, bronze, and select the existing data flow. Oh, we don't have a bronze lake house here. So we just have a copy activity, right? So just click here. Do we have a invoke pipeline? Yes. Okay, anyway, so just click on invoke pipeline here. This is going to add a pipeline here and setting, and you need to select here. So we have two different pipelines here. So that's amazing. So we can select this one, and also we can select the other one, which is basically we can also copy here and select here at the different one. So we need to give a name here. This is gold 02, which is showing up here. And this is basically the gold 01. Okay, so now the challenge is we have uploaded manually the Excel file. We are not going to refresh again. That's the problem. So we need to use this is for exceptional cases, but for general purpose, either we need to use the copy activity or we need to use the data files. So let's assume that this is bronze and then gold and gold. These are the things which we have. So for the bronze, I have used this one as a silver data flow, which is silver. It is actually copying from the bronze to the silver. And once this is complete, we have option here, tick and cross, right? So this tick, I'll just drag and drop by selecting it onto the next one. So this will actually bring the data from the silver to the gold one. And for this success, I will go here, the gold lake house to this gold warehouse. That's how it will work. If everything is perfectly fine, then what's the next step? So for this, we have an activities tab and we can add either Teams or we can also add Office 365 so that it can send an email for that. So if you click here Office 365 and then click on settings and then we need to sign in here. I hope that will take a little bit time initially to do that. But once you do so, you just need to click on this one. And you can also make another copy of this one if you want. And then you can keep it here. Usually that's how I used to do. For every success, we are doing one by one, step, and everything is fine. Um, we can also add here. So this is this one. And what will happen if something goes wrong? For this, we also have this one. This is on fail. So just drag and drop to this one. And also for this one, drag and drop for this one, and also drop for this. So if everything goes wrong, anything goes wrong on each and every or any of these pipelines or data flow or anything, then it's going to send you an email, and even on the success, it's going to send you an email. So that's the beauty of it, right? So that's what we need to define here. So 3 step is going to be this one, and the success is going to be this one. And finally, we need to save this flow, save this pipeline, and then we need to use the schedule option here. So that's what I was referring to. So we can use the schedule here. Now everything is done. So we have added this bronze lake house. We have added this one, silver lake house. We have also added the gold one. We also added the warehouse. We also added data set and report, and we also build the pipeline. All right. So this was the basic foundations of Fabric, which I covered in this, I think, 2 hours of the video. We have covered a half an hour on the earlier video, and now this is 1.5 hour video, approximately the 2 hours. So that really has taken a lot of effort from my side. If you really like this video, I appreciate your help if you share this video with other people. And if you really like this one, just hit the big thumbs up button and also share with others. Thank you so much for watching this till now. I hope you learned a lot from this series. And let me know in the comment section below what your the next thing which you're looking into this one. Till then, see you in the next video. Thank you.